Kill you!
I've just seen death!
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Macabrecast. We were out for a bit because Gabriel almost died. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm a lot better now, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. Are you drinking a gallon of beer?
No, this is just the podcast beer.
That's podcast brand beer.
Yeah.
The only beer for podcasters. Yeah, dude.
I was sick for a while, but
COVID.
it was
your first time?
No, second time, but it was different. I thought so. This time when I got sick, I like in the morning I felt pretty bad, and I was like, all right, once I get some rest, maybe take like some medicine or whatever, then I'll start feeling better.
Yeah.
But now that shit just stayed the entire day, the entire night. The next day I woke up, same shit. I was like, okay, maybe today I'll start getting better. All day, all night. The next morning, same shit. And then that's when I started to get a little worried. I'm like, wait, how long is this just gonna stay like the same level?
Was it worse the second time?
I think it was actually.
I've only had it once.
It was different because the first time,
knock on wood.
the first time, I did have like the shortness of breath. I had like fever. This time I didn't lose the sense of smell or taste, but I just had like a headache 24/7 and just like backaches.
Yeah, dude, that's how I knew I had it. I had a headache all day long, and I almost never get headaches. And the first day I took a test when I got home, like, fuck, dude, finally, this whole time I have not gotten COVID, and then all of a sudden I got it in late August. It was terrible, dude.
Yeah, it's a bad time to get it too.
Yeah, and they put me on that shit that makes you taste metal for like a week and a half. Paxlovid.
Yeah, I almost got it. I didn't take it.
Yeah, we missed a big fucking paranormal week. First off, in Miami, there was the huge news story about everyone seeing these giant 10-foot tall aliens walking through like an outside mall thing, and just turned out to be a bunch of kids fighting with fireworks. But everyone, it spread over TikTok, and there was people like saying, "Yeah, I saw the fucking aliens, and the power grid got shut down, and our cell phones didn't work, and all this other shit."
Yeah, they started making up stories.
They just started making up stories. Yeah.
Have you seen It's related a little bit. Have you seen the episode of The Simpsons where Principal Skinner and then Mrs. Krabappel, they're in the closet?
Oh yeah.
And then all the kids have a different story.
Yeah.
They're like,
they were in the closet, and they had a baby, and the baby looked at me.
Yeah.
The baby looked at you. The baby waved, something like that.
That's exactly what's happening in Miami. Somebody saw some shit, and then somebody like, you know what, I did, and my cell phone. Whatever.
And then a bunch of cops were posting their own videos, like, "Why are you guys saying this shit? Like, we were there. There was no aliens." And it's like, you would say that, you fucking cop.
That's true.
But like, the amount of cops was crazy. I guess they thought it was like an active shooter because of the fireworks. So that's why there was like 100 fucking cop cars going at it. But it was crazy. And then right after that, on TMZ, they released the jellyfish footage of UFO. Did you see that stuff?
I saw a little bit.
Yeah. I'm still torn about that. It looks like a bunch of balloons to me, sort of, but it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, have you ever seen the there's like a drone that somebody put like I think it looks like a skeleton, maybe like death or something like that.
What, really?
And it's a drone. So then it's like the thing is like flying. It was kind of like pretty crazy.
So that's what like a black cloak on it and all that.
Yeah, like a hood and like it looks like death is coming for you.
Apparently, there's a 1 hour video of that thing where it goes into the water and then comes out and like shoots off. But who knows? It's a little weird. I don't know. I think 2024 is the year, though. I think we're going to see some crazy shit this year as far as like disclosure and videos to come out. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should place bets.
By when?
By
Like, when do you think this thing is going to come?
I think by September of this year, we'll have like some really good footage of a UFO. And I'll bet you $10. I'm not even a betting man, but or maybe a picture of a alien body that's actually not made out of fucking paper mache, not from Mexico.
Okay. Has to be not Mexico.
Not from Jaime Maussan, none of those guys.
Yeah.
But you actually brought up this story to me, which somehow I never heard of, from 2016. I don't know if it's because like there's so many shootings going on.
Yeah, there
still are. But I had no idea that this ever happened. And you're like, yeah, the Uber killer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Uber killer. So where did you just see it as it happened, or you hear about it later?
No, I heard a podcast about it. It was like something, I was like, wait, I never heard of this before. And I'm like, it seems like I should have heard of it like a long time ago. It wasn't like anything new, you know?
Yeah, this is going back to 2016 and in Michigan. So we're going to talk about Jason Dalton. We're going to talk about the bad day that everybody had in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The day that Jason Dalton decided to go out and work for Uber. So I want you to imagine this, okay? You order an Uber. Guy shows up. He seems totally normal. And the driver's name is Jason Dalton. He lives in Kalamazoo, Michigan. At first glance, Jason looks like he might be like an IT guy for a Jiffy Lube, or like runs the register at a funnel cake stand or something. Let me show you a picture of what Jason Dalton looks like.
No shit.
It's a pretty fancy guy.
He could be a music teacher.
High school music teacher.
Yeah, high school music teacher.
Stop playing on the fucking recorders.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you Star Wars. So Jason was actually a insurance.
I don't know.
What?
His glasses kind of look like mine, dude. Or maybe like yours.
They kind of, yeah, it kind of looks like he could be our dad.
That's my brother right there.
So Jason was an insurance loss adjuster who started driving Uber part-time to pay for a Disney World vacation for him and his family.
That's how it always starts.
Yep. That's how it always starts. You start working a second job, and then you're shooting people. Jason was also a gun enthusiast. He owned 16 different guns. So let's say you order an Uber. You get in the front seat of the car, and this guy has his German Shepherd in the back seat, but you don't think much of it because it's like you like dogs, and you're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
While driving along, Jason gets a call on his cell phone, and you can sort of hear it, but you don't pay much attention to it. And then all of a sudden, the driver hangs up and starts punching the gas and swerving through traffic, hitting cars right and left, driving through the woods, driving on the wrong side of the road. Have you ever? I've never even taken a fucking Uber. Have you taken an Uber before?
Yeah.
Am I?
You're
am I like the last person to not take an Uber?
Go ahead and vote whenever you hear this. Just comment that.
Yeah, if you've taken an Uber,
play that game. Never have I ever. Then you wouldn't drink.
I guess on the weirdo, I just don't like other people driving me. Like, yeah. It's a man thing. Like, I want to be in control of the car.
Yeah, okay.
And like getting into a car with a stranger, but
you're mostly scared.
You're mostly just scared, yeah, that it's going to be this guy. So you start pleading with the guy to stop and let you out, but Jason's acting like everything's normal, and you're like, you hit a guy, and he says, well, I didn't hit anybody, and he just keeps driving.
Like, what are you talking about? This is normal.
Yeah, this is how everybody drives in an Uber. So your driver, Jason, misses the turn. So you tell him that he missed the turn. He slams on the brake, turns around, and you jump out of the car as fast as you can. You just leap out. And this is what happened to passenger Matt Mellon on February 20th, 2016. So do you leave a tip?
1 star for sure.
You have to
they
leave a
get
tip, or
rated
you might get a
stuff.
bad rating as a passenger.
This guy, yeah, no tip, 1 star.
1 star, yeah. So people are in the street when they see Melon jump out of the car, and they call the police. And then other people in the area start calling the police when they see this crazy fucking car driving around. Jason starts making his way back home, and he goes back to his house and he starts gearing up. He puts on a bulletproof vest. He grabs a Glock 9mm. He gets back in his car, and then he turns back on his availability for Uber.
I think also the guy that jumped off, he was somehow trying to get in. He reported it too, like
he called too. Yeah, thank you for picking that up.
But
Yeah,
then there were kind of like, 2016 Uber was a little different. It wasn't as easy to like figure out who was driving who and shit like that.
Yeah, I actually listened to Matt Millen's 911 call, and they said, "Well, do you want us to tell a police officer, or do you want us to put out an APB on this guy?"
They were way too relaxed about that shit.
Yeah, well, at the time, it's just like, well, he's driving erratically. It's maybe he's drunk or something. Like, I can understand that it might not be too big of a deal. But then they start getting calls from other people and saying, like, this guy just fucking hit me in a stop. He went and ran through a stoplight. And then you get other people saying, like, this guy's driving like 100 miles an hour down the street the wrong way. So, so he goes to his house. He puts on all this gear, and he gets a call. He gets a request from somebody an Uber request for a girl to pick up her boyfriend. And she didn't give him clear instructions. So, like, Jason starts making his way to that area, and there's security footage of Jason like circling the parking lot trying to find this lady and pick up her boyfriend. And a woman is out there walking with her kids, and Jason pulls up and he asks if she's the girl that requested the ride, and she says no, and he says okay, and he drives away. And then he fucking does a real fast turn, rolls down his window, and starts shooting at this lady and her kids.
Yeah.
The mother was hit 4 times, 1 in each leg, 1 in the arm, and 1 in her liver. And Jason speeds off thinking that he killed this lady. But she manages to survive, and none of the kids were hit. It's like a fucking miracle.
For real.
Yeah. So all the 911 calls start coming in, and dispatchers pick up real fast that there's the same car people are calling about. That the first person, Matt Mellon, called about when he jumped out. Jason speeds out of the area where he shot the woman and makes his way to his parents' house, because now his car's damaged, and they know that people will recognize like the dents and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's going to go to his parents' house. His parents aren't home, but he still goes into this house, and he tells his wife to meet him there. He hands his wife a gun, and she's like, well, what's this for? And he's like, well, don't worry about it. When you hear something on the news, you'll know what it's about. And she's like, okay, that's fucking weird.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
So he grabs his parents' car, which sort of looks like a PT Cruiser. It's the fucking lamest car to do a rampage in.
Yeah, it's not a cool looking car.
No, it's not cool looking if you're like thinking you're fucking Rambo or something. God damn it, I got Rambo in the brain.
How did you come up with this stuff? Just off the top of your head, huh?
That's just my imagination, dude. I'm that creative. I'm just thinking about Rambo for no reason. So Jason gets a call from the same girl that wanted her boyfriend picked up, and she's like, well, you didn't pick him up. And she talks to Jason for almost 30 minutes. And basically, he just keeps telling her that he doesn't have time for her request, and she's wasting his time. And she complained that he was very rude. So he ends up going back to his house and switches out guns because his handgun jammed. And then he turns on his Uber again for availability. He picks up this guy, Keith Black, And Keith states that Jason was really easygoing, singing along to the radio and making like small chit chat, you know, like he picks up a few people and they say the same thing. Like he's really easygoing.
Yeah. At this point, he dropped off his dog too, I think.
Oh, did he? Oh, I must have missed that.
I think because people are going to be looking for a driver with a dog.
Oh, that makes sense.
He leaves it behind.
Yeah, I felt bad for the dog just fucking in the back of that car, like going through the woods and shit, bouncing around.
Accomplice.
Oh, you think it was accomplice? He was like fucking reloading the clips for him. Ruh-roh.
Scooby.
So, yeah, this guy Keith says, yeah, everything was normal. He picks up a few people at the local Cracker Barrel, and they pretty much say the same thing. He's really easygoing. Just even one of them said, like, you're not this crazy guy shooting people around Kalamazoo, are you? He's like, no, that guy's fucking nuts. I don't know who that is. So Jason makes his way to a strip of car dealerships, and the reason he went to him is because he wanted to check out a black BMW. Like, he just wanted to take a look at it, I guess.
It was just time to look at it.
It was just time to look. He's like, I've always wanted to see that up close, and I think now's a good time. At the same time, this 17-year-old kid, Tyler Smith, is driving through the dealership with his dad and his girlfriend shopping for a car. And Jason pulls up to them, gets out of the car, and just starts shooting. The girlfriend ducks behind the seat and hides, and she waits for him to leave. And she waits for about 90 seconds before getting up, and he's long gone by then. Her boyfriend and her boyfriend's dad are dead, laying on the ground. She doesn't have a phone on her, so she grabs a phone out of her boyfriend's pocket and calls 911. And by now, like, word is spreading really fast. And all the police are looking for, and the thing is, they were originally looking for a silver car, and then he switched cars to this other car. Yeah. So there's a lot of confusion, a lot of cops going around, like, don't know what's going on.
Like two different shooters or something. You know?
Yeah, exactly. They don't know if it's two different shooters or what's happening. It's chaotic, especially like in a place like Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Like, this shit doesn't happen, you know. Yeah. I don't know what happens in Kalamazoo, but I can't imagine, like, there's the biggest news story is probably like the state fair, you know.
Yeah, there's not much going on. I assume so.
Yeah. So Dalton makes his way back over to the Cracker Barrel, and there Mary Lou Mary Jo Nye, Dorothy Brown, and Barbara Hawthorne, and a 14-year-old girl named Abigail Kampf were all at the Cracker Barrel meeting up after a show that they went to. And they were going to get in their cars and split up from there and go home. Like 3 in one car and 1 in the other, 2 in the other, whatever. So Jason is in the parking lot. He sees these women. He apparently, during his interrogation, he said that he walked up to the one woman in the van that had split off, and he said, "Can you spare $1 to make America great again?"
Yeah. And
she's just like, what? And then he shot her.
Yep.
And then he starts shooting all the other women in the car. And they all die except for the 14-year-old girl. The 14-year-old girl gets shot in the head, Abigail. And her injuries are so bad that she's coded. Like, they give her the time of death. They start looking her over to, like, for organ donations and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they get a heartbeat. And she ends up making a full recovery. By now, police are out in force, and one cop ends up spotting his car, throws the lights on, pulls him over, and they think this guy's going to fucking shoot at us. He's going to do, like, suicide by cop.
Yeah, that's what shit he's done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, by now, you think, like, oh, he just wants to die. Like, he's going to do something rash and pull a gun on a cop. Strangely enough, he doesn't. He puts his hands out the window and he gives up peacefully. So they get Dalton back to the interrogation, and they said, like, well, okay, tell us what happened. And he said, if you only knew what happened, it would blow your mind. And he explains that when he opened up the Uber app on his phone, the symbol that normally appeared changed into the Eastern Star symbol, which is, I think let me see if I could bring it up here. It's a Masonic symbol. He said he clicked on the symbol and it took over his body. So let me see. Okay, so this is the Eastern Star symbol. So apparently once he clicked that, it changed into the face of a devil. And he said it took over his body. And he said a little devil head popped up and he pressed it. And he says that's when all the problems started. He explained that how you can go through over 100 miles an hour and go through stop signs and just get to places. And he described the devil figure as a horned cow head or something like that, and would give you an assignment, and it would take over your body until the assignment was over. That's so crazy. Yeah, that's the weird part. Now,
that is the weird.
Do you think that he made that up in the heat of the moment to cover, like, to act like already setting up an insanity plea?
Like crazy, yeah.
Or do you think he actually had a mental break? Because this guy had no record.
Yeah, that was like the only thing he's ever done, right? Like,
yeah, he had guns, and some of his friends said he used to like shoot his guns off in his backyard. But some other people say that was bullshit. Like they would have heard that. Yeah. So you have a guy that has no record. He's in his 40s. I think he was 45 when this happened. To me, like I've known people that have had total mental breaks, but they were younger, and it was from schizophrenia. And it's totally apparent that that's something's happening that's not them, and they can't control it. But I don't know, man. It just seems like I can't make up my mind if he's making it up or what.
Because it just started out of nowhere, and then he killed someone, or he thought he killed someone, and then he started doing regular rides.
Yeah, it's like his mind was going back and forth.
Yeah, then I think I can't remember, but I think he might have killed those two people at the car dealership. And he went on to like regular.
Yeah, right after he killed them, he turned on his availability and he was back to normal.
And then again,
So it's this constant back and forth. And coming from a guy that's like an insurance loss adjuster, to have something like this happen, there's an X-Files episode where like people in a small town, they go to an ATM and it starts giving them messages, and it like reprograms their brain, and they start killing their neighbors and stuff. That's what it reminded me of. So I think like this conspiracy people sort of like ran with it a little bit and said, well, maybe he's like a sleeper agent or something like
that phone call that he got.
Yeah, something like that. Because exactly. Right after the phone call, he punches on the gas. Like Sirhan, the guy that shot Robert Kennedy Jr. He said that he was at the party at the hotel where Kennedy was, and a woman came up to him in a spotted dress and asked for tea, lots of sugar. And he said after that happened, he didn't remember anything. I don't know if I believe that, but there's always been this thing about sleeper agents, and I'm sure like the right-wing people are saying, well, he was set up because he becomes this person that pushes the agenda along for like gun control. So Jason goes to trial. During the trial, he has these outbursts, and I want to show you a photo of him. Look at piece of shit. I just want to show you
what
that.
What are the outbursts? He's like cock balls.
No, like he's like the first lady he shot, the one with the kids that ended up surviving. During the middle of her testimony, he just started talking about like black bags that old people wear, and just like gibberish and stuff. And he wouldn't stop, and they had to drag him out of the courtroom. There's all these photos of him being dragged out of the courtroom. I'll edit him in later, but and some video. But to me, it just all stinks of setting up an insanity plea to get out of it.
Yeah. He's probably fucking just broke, and he's like, you know what? If I'm insane, I'll get some food and just chill.
Well, so yeah, I mean, he'll get a hospital stay and will be maybe
stay.
marginally better than prison.
Not like jail, right?
Not like jail. But you know, it seems like a guy that probably wanted to kill someone his entire life and just didn't do it until that point. Something I like the idea. Something with that phone call set him off. I wish I knew what had happened.
Yeah, I never heard any. I just know that he also got a phone call, and then also some people, you never take an Uber, or you say, yeah. Most people wear fucking like an earpiece, and then if they talk on the phone real quick, they just do it like that.
Oh yeah,
and they don't put it out through like the Bluetooth or whatever. But
yeah,
if
exactly.
this guy actually like picked up his phone, you know, nobody knows what he said.
If anyone has any information about if there's anything else about that phone call, like please write in or just text me or something on Instagram. Let me know if you have any extra info about that, because I'm curious about what that was all about. Maybe it's something I missed when I was researching. But there's people that like serial killers that talked about, like, I thought about killing someone my entire life and I finally just decided to do it, and they're in their like 40s. It's just such a strange story, and it's like there's so many people that don't have closure from this. Like, why did you do it?
And then the people too, the regular people that he was picking up that he wasn't like killing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck was that? Like, they're running around with somebody that killed people, and
they probably had survivor's guilt about not being the one that he shot, while other people did get shot. Anyways, he ends up getting life in prison without the possibility of parole. And so far he was sentenced in 2019, I believe. So, I mean, he's never getting out of prison, thankfully, but it's stuff like this that just, like, I don't want to go in a fucking Uber.
It is hard to like, and then Uber drivers risk it too.
Yeah.
One time I got well, I actually had this one on, and I have a vest because I play I play airsoft. I used to play, and I have like like the whole fucking outfit, right? And I was wearing that, and I called an Uber when I was leaving, and I'm like, right here. And I like looked in the window. I'm like, don't worry, this gun's fake. And I was like, it's cool. Just sat in the back.
It could have been real.
It could have been real.
It doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been Uber drivers that have been killed.
Yeah.
So it's like both ways. It's terrifying, and there's just like, that's the thing about being into true crime, is it just makes you so paranoid about the outside world. In some ways, it's good because you're aware of your surroundings more and you're looking out for things. Yeah. But on the other side, it's like this constant low-level paranoia. I know that people in other countries, like when Americans visit, they always say like Americans have this low-level paranoia about situations like big crowds and stuff, and like a firework will go off and all the people that are in that country, like, it's nothing to them. All the Americans will duck down, because we're so used to all these shootings and everything.
And then, like this, like if the driver's having a bad day, and they could easily decide, I'm going to take it on the next person I pick up.
Yeah, they could just say, you know what? I'm done with life. I'm going to just swerve in oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking so many risks by doing that. I get it's convenient and everything, but like, you're driving a deadly thing, and someone else is driving it, and it could just take a split second and you're fucking gone.
Yeah, like yesterday, my boy Freddy Fantastico, that fool was telling me a story. He said that him and my sister
Lucha Libre wrestler or what?
That's not his last name. But
okay.
Then they said, well, they got an Uber ride because they were drinking,
Oh yeah.
And then at like 3 a.m, they got the ride, the Uber driver dropped them off somewhere else, like a mile away from their place or whatever. And he was like, "That's it, I'm done with the ride. You guys get off here." 3 a.m,
Too rowdy?
drinking and shit. Like they try to walk home and they're all cold and fucking.
Did he stop because they were drinking and they were rowdy, or did he just didn't like the neighborhood?
He just it was like a nice neighborhood actually. He left them. But he just said that's it. He's done.
I guess he has that choice.
Yeah,
it's his car.
He's like, you're done with the ride.
He probably had to poop.
Probably need to poop, but
dude, I've stopped some important things right in the middle of it because I had to shit. One time I was driving to a concert with a friend of mine, and it was out in Devore, and it's like a fucking 2-hour drive, and we're almost to the venue, we're almost to the concert, and my friend says, "We got to go home. I got to poop." And I can't poop in like any other place that's not my bathroom. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" We end up driving all the way back to his house so he could take a shit. But it's like, I get it. People have their things.
All right, guys, we're back. How was it, Matthew?
It's all right,
That's what you had to leave for, like
30 minutes? 8 out of 10. I'll do a little edit there. So
quick edit.
The clock in the background skips to 20 minutes later.
Sometimes I just gotta go mid-sentence.
This brings me to another episode of The Simpsons when Homer gets abused of sexual harassment and they edit the video.
All in the back is all crazy.
I had to get my hands on her. Sweet can.
And then after he gets saved, he's already falling for the next story, which is Willie. Willie's the one that was recording him.
Oh yeah.
And then Willie he's like, "He's guilty. Don't you hear the music?" They put like this weird ass sound in the background, like, "Oh.
Mr. Simpson, no, get away!" Mr. Simpson, no. I'm glad we could end on a fucking laugh because that's such a fucking dark story, dude.
It is, man. Too random, too crazy.
Yeah, especially in a place like Kalamazoo. Like, you're 1 second you're eating a corn dog at the fair, and the next second you're getting shot at by this fat piece of shit with a mop top.
If anybody says, "Do you have $1 to make America great again?" I'll be like, "Yes, you can."
So you don't get shot.
I hope, dude.
That's the weirdest thing to say.
That is the weirdest thing. So and that's why this story is weird. And people are like, "Oh, yeah, this is like a fucking plant."
Yeah, it just jumps all over the place, and it's so terrible, and people don't have like an idea why he did it. But Jason Dalton, rotten hell, you piece of shit. Yeah. I hope you die in prison. And that was Macabrecast this week. I'm tired.
Yeah, you've been there for a while now.
Yeah, I've been in this chair for fucking almost 3 hours. So we'll be back soon with some spooky stuff that doesn't have people dying in it. Well, maybe a few.
They're probably dead already. Man.
They're probably dead already. They're ghosts by now.
It's okay if they're ghosts.
And check out Macabrecast clips on YouTube. Check out the IG account, Macabrecast show, I think it is. I should be familiar with my own fucking links, but and
you figure out and you tell him.
Yeah. I wanted to tell everybody, if you get a chance, go to GoFundMe. My cousin Robbie, his business was flooded in San Diego. He deals in vintage foreign and domestic robot toys from the 40s and 50s and 60s, and his business was flooded, and he has a GoFundMe. He's a really nice guy, and it fucking couldn't have happened to a better guy, and it's terrible. So just search on GoFundMe Robbie Chisholm, and it should be one of the main links there, and give whatever you can. I'd appreciate it.
Damn.
Yeah. So all right, everybody, we'll be seeing you soon, and that's it. Bye.
Bye.